I want to start with Paralympics, but outside of competing, what are you looking forward to in Paris?
Outside of competing, I love carbs, so definitely baguettes. Like we did a course recon of our course where we're gonna compete on, and all I wanted to do was just eat a croissant and carry a baguette in a tote bag. So it's not the most, obviously see the sightseeing stuff, but I do have a promise to myself. If I end up on the podium or if it's in the middle of the podium and I win gold, I'm gonna buy my first Chanel bag in Paris. I love Chanel so much. It's a quote that's in my high school yearbook, and I live by a quote by her.
Explain the quote.
The quote's, "To be irreplaceable, one must always be different." And that is a quote, when I read it, it made me start seeing like all the things that I was so different. Everyone's saying you're different, you look weird. It made me reframe the word different and how different doesn't have to be bad. It's just you're irreplaceable because it's different. And it's cool in fashion. Why can't it be cool in our bodies and the way we are in society? And I've always honestly loved Coco Chanel, even though she was had her own stuff going on, because I never really identified with sports figures because I never saw myself as that. But she was an orphan. Yes. I never saw anyone that had no legs that's doing sports. You don't see it. How do you know you can be that kind of thing? So even though I admired them, oh, that's cool, I'll never do that. But what I connected with her story was, well, I know what it's like to be an orphan. I know what it's like to want to create a name for yourself and do something so much bigger than where you were and make something your life mean something. And I connected to that whole thing, and yeah. Now here we are in Paris, and I'm chasing a Coco Chanel bag. My coach, I told him, all you need to do on the sideline at the finish is put that bag up, a side of that bag, and I will do a PR sprint, all out.
So what are the goals for the games?
It's tough because the goals are obviously to defend the two unexpected events that I won in Tokyo, but I just really, really want to win a time trial because that's kind of my weakness right now, and I really want to win that race that I'm really bad at.
Okay, explain that.
Well, it's I'm not built. I'm the smallest rider. I'm not the biggest one, and because I transitioned from winter and summer. For a time trial specialist, you just have to train so perfectly in everything. And I'm just not good at time trials. I don't know what it is. And it's a mental component. It's a race against you and the clock. But I just don't trust myself. I don't trust the lines.
Why don't you trust yourself?
I guess I could think trust comes from believing in a way. If you believe in yourself, then you trust yourself to execute, and you trust yourself to be able to achieve what you envision for yourself. And I know I'm my own worst critic. I know I'm the hardest person on myself. And I mean, a lot of people don't realize, but when I started sports, I was an athlete that had to learn how to lose. I didn't make the teams. I didn't make the Paralympic games right away, or the national teams, or get that gold medal in my first games. It was so I learned how to lose first. But it was, for me, okay, because I know that feeling. I know how it's to always be on the bottom and have to fight against everything because of my experiences in life. That might be my greatest weakness as well. It's my greatest strength because I push myself so much. But there comes a point, you can't, it's gonna hurt me not to believe in myself too, and that's honestly 70% of a race right there.
I was talking to your mom yesterday, and she's even today, Oksana will just start beating herself up really good. I can't do this anymore. If I don't win gold, I'm going to lose all my sponsors. And so you'll kind of allow yourself to get to that place today too, from what I understand. But she argued that it's intentional on your end because that's what will help you.
No, that's how she's seeing it.
Okay.
My fear is that, and there's so many different, I think it's, the fear of failure and the fear of loss, and it's like something that's ingrained from, I know what it's like to not have anything and to have something and to not, I get so scared when it's so good and everything feels so nice.
You don't trust it.
I don't trust it. It's a matter of time before it's gone. And that's kind of how I've always, which is bad. I know it's not healthy at all, but it's impossible to not think about that when I have witnessed so much loss firsthand and felt it. And that's like, imagine if you're growing up and all those childhood memories that you have when you go home to visit your parents and stuff are coming back and you remember all these happy things. What if your first childhood memory is no sense of security in love and hugs and kisses and parents and people looking out for you and food? So all I knew of the world was survival, and not having that became my normal. Like, that's all I knew. And it's so hard to transition, to go from that to have this. I'm like, well, when is this gonna go back to what it was and how everything was starting for me?
What does the training routine entail today?
So right now we're about 3 months out, and I'm still kind of condensing and doing the type of volume training that my competitors did in the winter. So it's like a lot of longer rides, 3 to 4 hour rides. We just got done doing World Cups in Europe right now, so now preparing for the qualifying race for Paris. And that's what's so scary, is because I know I'm like here and my competitors are right here in their journey to like being the fittest athlete on the bike. And so it's a little bit of like, oh gosh, like this is really, like I'm not ready, and I start to second guess my coach and second guess myself. But like, I'm really trying to, this will be my 7th games if I make it, to just truly trust the process. And that's the one thing I have confidence in my coach. He's made the impossible possible for me, and the results and the outcomes happen in the most unexpected ways possible. And it's just reminding myself of like, okay, it's just one bad day. It doesn't mean it's gonna be like this for the next 3 months.